Really, their form against Limerick may not be that bad, and I expect Tip to win.
So Galway won the toss. They've elected to play into the town goal here at Semple Stadium in the first half. That means they'll play from left to right as you look at it, in wearing, of course, their traditional maroon jerseys. Tip in the blue and gold, and already a few markers being laid down from that first attack.
Yeah, free. No, Michael Cahill won the free out, and just a bit of afters there. It's not a huge amount, but he said, like, there is huge tension around the place. It's a huge game for both sides, and Tipperary shipped a lot of criticism the last time. Here, see Michael Cahill clearly being tripped there and getting the free out. Michael Cahill has been outstanding for Tipperary for the last number of years at cornerback.
Everybody revved up and fired up in these first few minutes as Tipperary make the decision here to bring John O'Dwyer back from wing forward to have a cut at this. There's a slight breeze blowing into his face. He is Tip's first choice long-range free taker. Seamus Callanan takes care of everything inside the 65. Here's John O'Dwyer, first shot at goal. The noise from the crowd will tell you all you need to know. That shot just fading, caught on the wind, first wide after a little over 70 seconds.
Yeah, strange decision really to bring him out to hit it. It was with the slight breeze, it was going to be outside his range.
Breaking ball in the middle of the field, picked up by James Barry, who has deputised for Conor O'Mahony at the heart of the defence. In case you joined us late, Conor O'Mahony out of the match with a back injury. James Barry has moved to the heart of the back line, and it's Paddy Stapleton, the experienced defender, who slots in at right corner back. Now Colm Lyons spotted a foul there just before that ball broke, and Seamus Callanan, Tipperary's leading scorer in the championship, hit 5 points against Limerick, has this opportunity to open the scoring. The sound of silence around Semple Stadium is deafening as Callanan drills that high and confidently over the bar. Tip hit the front, and if nothing else, it will help to settle the nerves.
Yeah, settle the nerves. And you know, last week against Kilkenny, Galway conceded a huge amount of frees, and in the first 2 minutes they've conceded 2 already here tonight.
As expected, Noel McGrath has gone roaming for Tip, and here he is right on cue to take that short pass just inside his own 45-metre line. Goes long, well taken by Fergal Moore. Back to his best in the Galway full back line, cleared long by Irlatanyan. Glynn so strong in the air, lovely layoff, chance for Galway, the shot, Jason Flynn with a brilliant goal, his second of the championship. Rude one from Galway, Glynn to Flynn, brilliant goal.
Yeah, and it worked very, very well against Kilkenny a couple of weeks ago. So here's Jonathan Glynn, he's a great hand, great catch, out to Flynn and buried in the net. And Flynn was impressive in both games against Kilkenny. Didn't get a lot last week, but the first day was impressive, and that's a great start for him. But Johnny Glynn caught that ball superbly.
Flynn, such an exciting prospect, finished it brilliantly, and Galway hit the front in the 4th minute here at Semple Stadium. Well, it was a huge clearance initially from Irlatanyan that started that move, and as Nicky mentioned, Jonathan Glynn, brilliant in the air, and Flynn did the rest. And at the other end we've had a foul and a free in. David Collins, the player who committed the indiscretion, and a chance for Tipperary to respond immediately.
Yeah, but again, a needless concession of a free by David Collins, and getting a yellow card as well. And just after getting the goal, they're just conceding an easy point for Tipperary at the other side to get them resettled.
Callanan with that measured, thoughtful approach. Same result, margin closed to a single point. And it's something Galway did far too often last Saturday night against Kilkenny, conceding those frees inside the range of some of the country's best free takers, and Callanan could do that all night long. A fierce scrap for possession. Colm Lyons lets them play away a little longer. Man who tried to dig it out there for Tip was James Woodlock. Away comes Canning, lovely skill, in full flight. What about that from Joe Canning? Lovely to watch, beautifully taken. Galway by 2.
Yeah, Joe Canning's outstanding, but it was outstanding work before that by Galway. They closed down the Tipperary defence, didn't let James Woodlock come out with the ball, and then straight to Joe, and just just very little backlift and straight over the bar.
I noticed something flagged up by Jamesy O'Connor in the pre-match discussion. Conor Cooney has in fact started at full forward for Galway. Jonathan Glynn positioned out on the wing, and also Jason Flynn just dropping a little deeper as Galway try to produce a trick or two from up their sleeve in these first 5-6 minutes. Poor sideline cut by Iarla Tanyan, who's given possession back to Tip, and Bonner Maher breaks the challenge of Dahi Birkin, hits for the crossbar, shortens the grip. The shot straight at the goalkeeper, Colm Callanan, and fortunately for Galway it broke to Ronan Burke, and he gets it away down the field. Nobody coming off Bonner Maher's shoulder there, though. He had to go it alone, and the shot didn't trouble the keeper. Woodlock gets it away. The attempted clearance from Ronan Maher, brilliantly blocked down by Pádraig Breheny, recycled to Tanyan, drills it diagonally low across towards the far wing, inviting the run of David Burke, but Pádraig Maher read it well. The fullback from Thurles Sarsfield knows every inch of Semple Stadium. Returns with interest down along this left-hand side. Fergal Moore out in front, holding the fort and getting it away. This is Conor Cooney, who's drifted out from the edge of the square. Goes past Woodlock, forced out by Pádraig Maher. Ball didn't cross the line though. Cooney shoots from an almost impossible angle, and that is Galway's first wide after 7 minutes. Well, it's been frantic, helter-skelter, and chances at both ends, Nicky.
Yeah, and Bonner Maher had a good chance. He probably should have tapped it over the bar there, because he had caught it twice, he couldn't catch it again. And just after, I see Ronan Maher in his first game, he needs to get the ball away quicker. Good block by Pádraig Breheny.
The puck out from Darren Gleeson. Good strong hand from Garrod Ryan. Lays it back as far as James Barry. Drills it in towards Callanan, who's got Ronan Burke for company. Callanan with a little bit of trickery to keep it in, but it was well read by Johnny Cohen from Loughrea, and he gets out towards Cathal Mannion. Galway have started bright. Lovely little bit of skill again from Canning, with a swivel of the hips to buy time and space. Shoots from inside his own half, and it's gone out to the left and wide.
There's a lot of space around Joe Canning, though, worryingly from a Tipperary perspective there. You see James Barry, he buys the dummy, but James Barry is standing off Joe Canning, and if you take the lesson from Kilkenny over the 2 days, they didn't allow Joe Canning to face the second day, and they clearly come out on top.
Superb catch by Bonner Maher, got up above Dahi Burke. Maher making an angle for himself. An inspirational score from the centre forward. He will do that all day long. Catch and run. Nobody able to stay with him. It's back to a 1-point game.
Yeah, this time off the hurley and straight over. Bonner Maher is a hugely important player for Tipperary. He's really the engine of the Tipperary forward line.
And the Tip crowd now getting behind their side as Canning rides the shoulder. He's in the mood, he's in the groove. Another for Canning.
Yeah, he shipped a heavy knock as well just before he hit it over the bar. Well, that's his third shot at goal in the first 8 minutes, and last week against Kilkenny he hardly touched the ball 5 or 6 times. So Tipperary need to tighten up on Joe Canning. Not an easy job to do.
Yeah, an incredible statistic from that replay last weekend. Joe Canning didn't have the ball in his hand in open play for the last half an hour of that match. He's been central to pretty much everything Galway have done here in the first 9 minutes. And the visitors deservedly out in front. Here's Canning again. Joe Canning has gone for it. It's going to be close. Gleeson kept his eye on it all the way. But Joe Canning looks to be in one of those moods where he's prepared to shoot from everywhere and anywhere. A high dropping ball. 2 Galway men jump together. Well read by David Collins. Gets it outside as far as Iarla Tanyan, an all-star back in 2012. Again, he's looking for that full forward line. Superbly intercepted by Pádraig Maher. Loose man is James Woodlock. Sees a man in a better position. It's the wing forward. It's John O'Dwyer wide on his own side. Well, they're moving constantly the tip forward line, dragging Galway backs out of position. O'Dwyer should have hit the target.
Yeah, John O'Dwyer is finding himself mostly in at right corner forward. Noel McGrath, Garrod Ryan moving around on both sides of the wing, but that should have been a point. It was a great move.
Galway looking for Cathal Mannion with the puck out. Instead, it's away by Johnny Cohen. Canning scoops it back as far as his club mate Andy Smith. They've won 4 All-Ireland club medals together with Portumna. In over the top for Glynn to chase. Paddy Stapleton minds the house, keeps it simple, and gets it away towards Brendan Maher, the tip captain. Darren Gleeson takes the one touch and drives it long. Dahi Burke kept his eye on it all the way. The centre back from Thurlough-Moore. Collins and Glynn just strolling out towards that left-hand side. Quick change of direction to try and lose his man. He has options inside. Might fall yet for Jason Flynn. Desperate defending by Cathal Barron. And back to help goes Mickey Cahill. A galvanising clearance from Cahill. Gets it away out of his own half. Picked up neatly by Garrod Ryan. Looking for somebody in space. Lar Corbett yet to get on the ball. Ran for that one. Callanan has it. He's gone low. Callanan! Back at the net. Goal for Tip.
Yeah, great turn by Seamus Callanan. Could see when the ball comes into him. Might be a question that Lar fouled in front of him, but when the ball came to Callanan, beautiful turn and just away from his man Fergal Moore, who's broken his hurley, can't hook, and nice finish into the corner. No chance for Colin Callanan. So that's a great return for Tipperary, and because they had been under pressure, and their return from their attack so far really not as they've been under a bit of pressure. The Galway defence has been mostly on top, so that's a good result for Tips.
He's such an enigmatic talent, Seamus Callanan, but he's hit a goal and 2 points already tonight, and that is good news for Tipperary. They lead again. This game ebbing and flowing. Callanan paired up in that full forward line with Lar Corbett. It's bristling with potential. Corbett, though, Nicky, yet to get on the ball.
Yeah, Fergal Moore has had the best of that duel. Larry, the first ball he came to, it went off his hand out over the sideline, but he's actually switched to full forward now.
Good take by John O'Dwyer. Waits for the support. It's Noel McGrath, shortens the grip and fires it over the bar. Tip playing the kind of hurling that Eamon O'Shea has been preaching for the last couple of seasons, moving the ball quickly to the man in the better position and making it look easy in full flight. Yeah,
superb take by John O'Dwyer, and the tip forwards are moving all over the place. Noel McGrath now centre forward.
Looked like Bonner Maher had done the hard part there by winning that ball, but he's been penalised for barging.
Yeah, it's controversial enough call, and the Tipperary public not happy with it.
I see Galway's midfield enforcer Andy Smith in there to add his tuppence worth, just colliding and clashing with Noel McGrath right in front of Cullum Lyons.
Well, again, Andy is very, very aggressive, and when that aggression is controlled, he's a really important player. But sometimes, he can just overdo that side of it and concentrate too much on the physical, and it doesn't help the rest of his game.
So Galway have called out Conor Cooney from the St. Thomas's club. Took over the free-taking responsibilities for Galway earlier on this year when Joe Canning was on club duty with Portumna. Did an excellent job and has been left on the frees for championship. This is his first difficult one. No mistake, high, straight and true.
Yeah, he's an excellent free taker, Conor Cooney, to retain the job ahead of Joe Canning. And there's some debate over that. Some people wonder, does it take Joe out of the game not to be taking the frees? But if you take the game 2 weeks ago, it certainly didn't impact them, nor is it tonight.
Break picked up by Woodlock, dangerous ball. Out comes Callanan. He needed to make sure, and he did. It was really impressive during the National League for Galway. Some would say Galway's best player during the spring. And that will do his confidence no harm at all. Here is the towering figure of Ireland on the run. He has an ability to score from distance, went for it, instead succeeds only in clocking up Galway's third wide. But it's been a really enjoyable first quarter of an hour, Nicky.
Yeah, and very, very close. Both teams very, very closely matched as we expected.
Maher with the little layoff to Noel McGrath, who's gone roaming and picks off his point at his leisure. That's his second. He fills that playmaking role for Tip every other day. Goes where he's needed. Very stylish. Tip ahead by 2 again. Ball breaks kindly for Galway, and in particular for Cathal Mannion with the snapshot, and that's gone over the bar. He read it brilliantly and finished with a plum.
Yeah, scores are coming thick and fast here, and Cathal Mannion came on as a sub the last day and retained his place, and an easy score for him, and good to get a score like that here, just settle you down.
3 of Galway's forwards, by the way, have now scored from play. Much improved on their efforts last weekend. Now Tipperary trying to isolate Seamus Callanan. Ronan Burke stalking his every move. Callanan trying to take him on for pace. Went around him, and Ronan Burke's hurl was high. It's going to be a free in to Tip. And I think Colm Lyons wants a word with Burke, and he's been booked.
Yeah, Ronan Burke came under a lot of pressure last Saturday night against Kilkenny when the Kilkenny forwards ran at him, and Seamus Callanan certainly seems to have the legs on him here again tonight, and Tipperary have been able to isolate Callanan on him, and here he's just, every time he gets it, he's taking him on, and you can see it's a clear foul there, pulls him back, and gets a yellow card as well, puts him under more pressure.
The Galway fullback very much learning on the job this season. This just his 4th start, and has his hands full here in the first quarter with this man Seamus Callanan. That's a goal and 3 points for Callanan. 3 frees to go with that well taken goal, and Tip ease 2 points ahead again.
Yeah, but he certainly has the legs on Ronan Burke, so if Tip can get enough of ball in there, you know, they're moving around in the forwards. Larry is moving, Corbett is moving out and creating space around Callanan.
Another big puck out from Colm Callanan, who time and again is trying to find Cathal Mannion or Jonathan Glynn when he drifts out onto that left wing. That ball last touched a Tip hurl, and Joe Canning has been called across to take it.
Yeah, and this is Joe is fantastic at line balls, well capable of putting this over the bar. Got a great one last weekend. One of the great skills of the game.
Well, his sideline score last weekend had to be seen to be believed from a pretty similar angle, and he's gone for it again. And as they say, Nicky, when they go over, they're great. When they don't, you wonder, should he have tried to recycle it? Yeah,
but I suppose, you know, it's well within Joe's range to score those line balls. If a normal player would say keep it in play, but with him, it's worth a chance.
John O'Dwyer, despite his best efforts, unable to keep that ball in play, and back to gather goes Johnny Cohen again, using his pace to get out of trouble, and Canning knocks it into the corner, looking for the run of Glynn, but Paddy Stapleton has the legs very tight to the line on that far side, and James McGrath felt he was out over it with the ball. Good pressure by Glynn. Galway get a chance to keep the pressure on.
Yeah, and Joe Canning is going to get the second serve here, I think. The angle is a little bit better, so we'll take another chance on him, Mike.
There you saw he has had more possessions in this match, Joe Canning, than any other Galway player.
And that's what Galway will want. They'll want this man in the game.
Setting himself up for another shot at goal. What a score.
Yeah, that's fantastic. Angle was a little bit better, but I mean, it's an unbelievable skill, and that's why that man takes on those line balls. It's just superb. And again, that's great for his confidence. 6 possessions, 6 shots, and too much possession if you're a Tipperary follower.
Well, he has honed that skill down through the years on his home pitch in Portumna. He has done it so many times for club and county. and that will lift the Galway crowd. Admittedly a quite small Galway crowd that have made the trip to Tip tonight, but they like the look of that. And with 20 minutes gone here at Semple Stadium, it's a 1-point match in this do-or-die qualifier, win or bust. Man coming out with that ball defiantly was Johnny Cohn, but it's a poor clearance. Gifted it back to Mickey Cahill, the corner back from the local Sarsfields club here in Thurles. Good strong run. He's got Jonathan Glynn herring after him, and Canning with a flick of the wrist to knock that ball away. Break picked up though by a tip man. It's Noel McGrath getting through a lot of hard work and unglamorous work, but that ball ran away, and Collins with a good delivery. Grabbed in by Jason Flynn, the goal scorer. He's asking an awful lot of David Burke here, who does well to get there, but he was outnumbered 2-1. And Paddy Maher has all the time in the world to get it away and bring Noel McGrath into the match again. Good covering by Tanyan. Went with him every step of the way and manages to win the line ball. Yeah,
poor touch by Noel McGrath after a good ball, good delivery by Pádraig Maher, and you saw the difference there between, you know, the direct ball across to Noel McGrath, much better than previously. Mickey Cahill was carried the ball up the field and Noel McGrath carrying the ball, and both dispossessed by Galway.
It's a glorious evening here in Thurles. Perfect conditions for championship hurling, and Galway and Tip going at it, hammer and tongs. John O'Dwyer coming across in front of David Collins and popping it over the bar. That's his first point. O'Dwyer, who's been lively, moving around that attack, trying to lose his marker, and that time he did it to great effect. Yeah,
certainly been lively, and he's had the upper hand of David Collins. You know, caught a ball and gave a point, and great score himself there now.
Here he is again, taking the pass from Brendan Maher, who continued his run. Instead, O'Dwyer tries to change the angle of the attack, but Johnny Cohn is there to cut it out for Galway. Recalled to the starting 15 tonight, and justifying Anthony Cunningham's faith in him so far. Brendan Maher takes the short pass, turns, hits it with everything he has. It had no issue in terms of distance, but fades away for Tip's third wide. It was I think a shot more in hope than confidence from the captain.
Yeah, it was certainly worth a chance, though. He had no problem with the range, but you know, the hurling is pretty loose. There's a lot of space for everyone. Nobody really closing down that much here, which would be, you know, both managers would want their players closing down harder than is happening tonight.
Galway selector Eugene Cloonan there just giving Colm Lyons a hand with that decision, encouraging him to give it Galway's way, and Galway have got the free. As we watch that block earlier from Pádraig Breheny and that super take from Dahi Burke, we really have been treated to the full array of skills in the first 23 minutes.
Yeah, it's been end to end, very skillful, and you know, like both sides very, very evenly matched.
Again, the stadium falls silent as Conor Cooney steps up to this. He is Galway's leading marksman this season, and it's easy to see why. That's his second of the night, just keeps that scoreboard moving. It's a 1-point game again.
Yeah, neither of the frees that he hit have been that easy. As I said earlier on, it's just a beautiful night here for hurling in Thurles. Fantastic pitch, fantastic, no wind. The only issue probably is the sun into the Tipperary goals. There's always a difficulty here on a sunny evening. You'll see the Tipperary goalie shading his eye there, Darren Gleeson. That's the only issue. Good excuse if he makes a mistake.
Galway just mixing things up again in their forward line. David Burke on the edge of the square, Cathal Mannion gone to the corner, and this man Jonathan Glynn out in the half forward line. Here's Canning unmarked. He's got so much space, and he punishes Tip off his left hand side. It's his fourth point of the night. The sides are level for the first time thanks to Joe Canning.
Yeah, that's the key issue for Eamon O'Shea and Tipperary. The amount of space that Joe Canning is able to create is creating. And you know, before the match we were talking about Ronan Maher dropping back in front of him, but nobody seems to be doing that job, and Joe is in acres of space when he gets the ball. Johnny Glynn again, good pick up and a good pass. So again, too much loose play by the Tipperary half back line, and it's costing him big time.
Well, Galway down to 14 men at the moment. Pádraig Breheny, the midfielder, is receiving some attention at the moment on the far side. He fell very heavily on his shoulder. Tip with an extra man. Corbin, where has he been in the first 25 minutes? Lays it back to O'Dwyer, and John O'Dwyer picks off his point, his second point of the match. Tip ease in front again.
Yeah, he's been very lively, John O'Dwyer. Great take before that, and a pass to Larry that Larry didn't take, but he recovered and passed back to John O'Dwyer, and a nice point from him, but he's looking dangerous.
Well, Galway back to 15 men again. Pádraig Breheny has been worked on by the Galway medical team and is going to try and continue, for the moment at least, as Colm Lyons is speaking to the Galway team doctor, who was treating Breheny just a few moments ago, and obviously referee not happy with some aspect of that intervention.
Yeah, well, I think the doctor wasn't happy in the first place that the referee didn't stop the play to allow him to treat Pádraig Breheny, so I'd have some sympathy for the doctor now.
Good pick up by Conor Cooney. Just ran out of space though. Won back by Ronan Maher. Conor Maher gets it up at the second time of asking. Runs into two Galway men though, and one of them, David Collins, comes away with the ball. Poor clearance. Gives it right back to Cathal Barrett. And the cornerback fires in a shot. Backed himself wide of the target. That's Tip's fourth, and it's still just that solitary 1 point between them. Yeah,
Eamon O'Shea won't be happy with that. Cathal Barrett is playing wing back tonight after Conor Mahoney is out, and you know there was two or three free Tipperary players in front of him. He took the shot on that was never on really, and hit without conviction as well.
Good hook by Noel McGrath, just as Cathal Mannion was deciding to play the pass, but Tip have given away the free in the follow-up. A push on Andy Smith, but It was an excellent hook initially from McGrath to deny Mannion.
See him there, it's a clear push. He got a lovely hook on, but you know, there was no need to push there. Andy Smith was heading back towards his own goals, even if he did pick up the ball, and the needless free conceded by Noel McGrath. And a chance for Conor Cooney to level it up here again. So really little between these teams, and hard to find a real pattern between them at this stage.
So Conor Cooney standing over this free again. This to tie the match up for the second time. He's just on the 65-metre line, and his free taking has been flawless. 3 from 3 for the wing forward from St. Thomas's. They couldn't be any closer. Sides locked together with 7 minutes of normal time left in the first half.
Yeah, I think if I was either of the manager, I think I'd be slightly happier if I was Anthony Cunningham. You know, coming in here tonight, they wouldn't want to have seen Tipperary get a good start, and certainly Galway have stayed with them all the way.
Here's Noel McGrath, shoots for the score and immediately shields his eyes from the sun to try and watch whether it's hit the target or not. It's gone out though to the left and wide. That strong sun shining right down into Darren Gleeson's eyes in this first half. And also something of a problem there for Noel McGrath. Andy Smith knocking it in around the house. One for David Burke to chase. Out comes Gleeson. Gets it away as far as Paddy Stapleton. Galway a little slow in getting the pressure on, and it's cleared long in to the heart of the Galway backline. Dahi Burke, good touch from the central back. Just stumbled on landing, and John O'Dwyer is quickest to react. Nothing on, short, goes for his own score. 2 wides for Tip in the space of a minute, and 3 wides in the match for John O'Dwyer.
Yeah, well, those last couple of wides really would be worrying from a Tipperary point of view. Good chance for John O'Dwyer, and Noel McGrath previous to that. You know, those are chances that need to be put away.
Cathal Barrett bent his back and came away with the ball. This is Paddy Maher. Man coming off his shoulder is the midfielder James Woodlock. Woodlock fires it long and high and over the bar. Simple and effective from Tip. First score of the match for the midfielder from Drummond Inch, and that's enough to nudge Tip back in front again.
Yeah, good play by Paddy Maher, and a good layoff to James Woodlock, and a good score, and that was a score that Tip needed.
Here Latanian making himself available for the quick puck out, but foul by a combination, I think, of Noel McGrath and Lar Corbett.
Yeah, Noel McGrath doesn't agree with it, but I certainly felt he fouled here, Latanian.
Well, scores coming thick and fast at either end in the first half an hour. Things very finely balanced as Tanyan drops this in, and it's in the net. Goal for Galway, a second of the night, and David Burke may have got the final touch. Gleeson rooted to the spot. Galway with a second goal.
Yeah, it looked to me like it was David Burke that got the touch. We'll see it here. It's coming in, and yeah, David Burke definitely gets the touch. Tipperary defenders are really waiting for James Barry with the hand. They should have been attacking it, and the keeper has no chance. But that's a big score for Galway just 5 minutes before half-time.
Well, he scored a very similar goal against Kilkenny in the drawn match a couple of weeks ago when he followed a long ball in. He's very good in the air. Lovely wristy hurler, got a flick to that. Gleeson, no chance. And all of a sudden, Galway propel themselves back in front again.
Yeah. Two tick defenders.
So as we swing into the last 4 minutes of this first half, Galway have hit a purple patch. In fact, they've outscored Tip in the last 8 minutes, 1-3 to 2 points. And any night, any day they score goals, Galway, they take on a new lease of life.
Exactly, and you know, we've seen the possessions coming up. You know, Bonner Maher with 8 and Joe Canning with 7, the two highest possessions, but there's much more coming out of what Joe Canning is doing. He's doing the scoring.
Great take again by Dahi Burke. Lays it off to Canning. Trying to supply that inside line with good ball. Cathal Mannion was the intended target. Instead it's taken away by Pádraig Maher. Just dwelt on that ball a little but manages to get away with it. John O'Dwyer just unable to get his hand on that ball. Popped out to the stand side. He's furious with himself. He knows he should have made that stick. And plenty for Eamon O'Shea to ponder as we head towards half-time.
Yeah, and certainly Galway have taken the upper hand in the last few minutes and taken the lead. And you know, this is where the test for Tip now, the criticism that has been that really when the test comes on, they haven't responded in games this year, and they're going to get out to win here tonight. They're going to really have to respond in a big way here.
An aimless delivery there a moment ago into their full forward line. Noel McGrath now, the man who pulls the strings. Again, he's looking for John O'Dwyer. Closest Galway player to him is Johnny Cohen. O'Dwyer from a very tight angle. The umpire likes the look of it. Superb score. O'Dwyer's third of the night. His confidence is high. And again, he did that brilliantly.
Yeah, he certainly has been the best player for Tipperary and the most dangerous attacker in view. For a while they were able to isolate Seamus Callanan and get the ball in front of him, but that has certainly dried up.
Maher tussling for it on the ground with Jonathan Glynn. Galway hungrier for that breaking ball. Gobbled up, smashed in, and that's gone high and over the bar. Pádraig Breheny, the midfielder from Tina Abbey-Donaire, with his first of the night. Galway 2 up once more.
Yeah, Pádraig Breheny I think he's an excellent future. He's a great prospect. But before that, Pádraig Maher was bringing out the ball, and he got no support from any of the other Tipperary defenders, and 3 Galway players took him on.
Ronan Burke there lost his hurl. Callanan keeps his composure and is cool and slots it over the bar. Again, he used his pace to lose the fullback, and that's not now a goal and 4 for Callanan, his first point from play.
Yeah, and he's been out of it for a little while, but every ball he's getting, he's able to do damage on Ronan Burke, and you know, that needs to be maximised from a Tipperary perspective. They need to keep the ball in front of Callanan. They have changed and shot long and driven wides and wasted the ball in the last 5-10 minutes.
Yellow card there a moment ago for Johnny Cohen. We're going to have at least 1 minute of additional time at the end of this first half, as Tip come in search of the equaliser. Barrett looking for John O'Dwyer, beaten to it by Fergal Moore, who picks out his man. It's Joe Canning again, who's holding his ground there at centre forward. Here's Jason Flynn, man who scored the early goal. The shot from long range is high, right and wide. Nicky English, your thoughts as we head towards that half-time break? It's very much all to play for. Very much all to play for, Mike. Very hard to actually discern a pattern to the game. It's very, very open, and both sides, both forward line on top, able to score, it looks like at will. And very hard to call a winner here. Good ball from Corbett. Noel McGrath is who stays in close to goal this time. He took on Johnny Cohn, and Johnny Cohn was booked just a moment ago. Fulham Lions, I think, is reminding him of that fact. Tip get the free, and Johnny Cohn now on very thin ice. Yeah, certainly, you know, that was a clear foul again, but good take by Noel McGrath and Seamus Callanan to level it up here before half-time. I just noticed before that Fergal Moore actually has moved over on John O'Dwyer. You know, Dwyer was completely on top of David Collins, and Anthony Cunningham is not prepared to look at that for much longer. He's moved Fergal Moore. So once more, all eyes fall onto Seamus Callanan, making his 25th championship appearance tonight. He has been down this road before, and Callanan ties the sides up for the third time in this qualifier at Semple Stadium. Fulham Lions blows the half-time whistle, and the Tipperary crowd give their side a rousing reception as they head down the tunnel. The sides are level. Anything could happen. At half-time, Tipperary 1-12, Galway 2-9.
Yes, indeed.
Cunningham have both made a change at the break. Joseph Cooney, son of Joe Cooney, one of the best centre forwards that ever togged for Galway, he's in, and it looks like Pádraig Breheny, who picked up a knock to the shoulder during the first half, who's made way. Tip have also made a change. It's Kieran Bergen who's into their team, player who started the Munster semi-final defeat against Limerick at midfield, is in for this second 35 minutes as well, and we'll confirm those changes for you as soon as we get them. Ronan Maher, the debutant in this match tonight, is the player who seems to have made way for Tip, as we watch Conor Cooney, Galway shooting into the Callanan end goal for the second half, into the slight breeze, and Conor Cooney makes light of it all. That's his fourth point of the match, all from frees, and it's enough to put Galway back in front again. Yeah, change from either side in the middle of the field. I think Pádraig Breheny actually is injured. He hurt his shoulder, but disappointing debut for Ronan Maher really, and he's been replaced as well. Man on the ball for Tip is Lar Corbett, involved in 2 scores before the break, perhaps a third. John O'Dwyer shoots, and that's another score for the Tip wing forward from Killinall. He has demanded the ball all evening, wants to get involved. He's got his eye in, and it's level again. Yeah, he's straight in there again and over the bar, but Larry Corbett just got it away in time. He was in danger of overcarrying. Anthony Cunningham has also brought in a second sub. Davy Glennon is into the forward line instead of David Burke. So 2 changes for Galway at the break. Joseph Cooney and Davy Glennon in off the bench. Tip have introduced Kieran Bergen. A crowd, by the way, of 18,467 people here on a gorgeous evening in Thurles to watch this qualifier. A winner-takes-all championship match, and at the moment it could go either way. Ball popped in by Garrod Ryan, but nobody at home in the Tip full forward line, and an easy take for Colm Callanan. Everybody out of position, nobody there to make it stick. Yeah, Garrod Ryan did well to win the ball, but I mean, there was a hopeless use of it, and you know, again, it's very easy clearance by Galway, and not enough of pressure coming on from Tip early here in the second half. Paddy Stapleton gets it away to Cathal Barron. Drills it in just over the head of Johnny Cohn. He's looking for Callanan. Dahi Burke back to help, and Dahi Burke getting it away, but only as far as the waiting James Woodlock. No Tip player inside the 20-metre line as Woodlock fired that one up on the breeze. Tip's 7th wide.
A bad wide by James Woodlock, and you know Tip have hit some bad wides at the end of the first half as well, so that's a pattern that Eamon O'Shea won't want to see repeated.
Andy Smith there just taking the moment to gather his thoughts and get that ball under control. Lobs it in towards Cathal Mannion. Well taken by James Barry, but he's unable to get it away. Conor Cooney, just one man to aim at in that Galway full forward line, and Glynn has it. Great hand. What a goal from Jonathan Glynn. Unstoppable from the big full forward from Ardrahan. A bullet. Galway 3 in front.
Yeah, he's a great hand, Johnny Glynn, and he's caught a couple of great balls, but when this one came into him, really, Pádraig Maher was in front, and you know, he should have been behind and attacked the ball great, but when Glynn caught it, gave no chance whatsoever to Darren Gleeson. That's a great start to the second half for Galway.
Well, we wondered which Galway would turn up this evening. Would they be licking their wounds after that defeat to Kilkenny last weekend, or would they be up for this, fighting for their lives in the championship tonight? And Jonathan Glynn, with that brilliant goal, gives us our answer once more.
Yeah, and you know, as happened when they got their goals in the first half, you know, Tip come back and get a free at the other side. So you know, Larry Corbett, he's not been on the ball enough from a Tipperary perspective, and you know, he's won a free there, but they'll want to get him more on the ball, and this is going to be a huge battle for Tip. They need to up the ante and up the work rate, and Galway certainly just getting wresting control here.
Once again tonight, Tip being asked the hard questions. Callanan gets the score just to give them a foothold again. They have lost 2 big matches here at Semple Stadium in the last few months. Tipperary, that league final against Kilkenny, and the Munster semi-final 5 weeks ago against Limerick. It has not been a happy hunting ground. Noel McGrath from just inside his own half. That is something else from McGrath.
Yeah, it's a crucial period in the game, Mike, and you know, a good response really from Tipperary to the goal. You know, the winning the free, and that's a great score from Noel McGrath off his left, and you know, I can see it bringing it in on the breeze.
A 3rd point of the match for Noel McGrath. He's having one of those nights. Here's Woodlock now, the bit between his teeth. Looked for the short pass, nothing obvious on. Fires it in towards the town end goal. Wide again. Yeah, and you can see Seamus Callanan complaining, and rightly so. Seamus Callanan is one-on-one on Ronan Burke at that stage, and he's been totally on top. Here's where we're going back to the goal, and easy finish from Johnny Glynn, but a great take over Pádraig Maher. But James Woodlock's last effort at a point was complete waste. Seamus Callanan was on his own with Ronan Burke, and the ball needed to go in low in front of him. A battle for possession on the far side, and despite the best efforts of Cathal Barrett, he seems to have brought that ball out over the line, and a chance perhaps for Joe Canning to repeat that party piece he treated us to in the first half and have a shot at goal from this sideline cut.
Yeah, normally for Joe really it's a question of just direction. He's going to have the range, and he rarely mishits the line balls.
He is Galway's all-time leading scorer in the championship. 19 goals and 204 points. He's gone for it again. And on the law of averages, if you keep on shooting, Nicky, as we discovered in the first half, he will hit the target. Yeah,
but again, you know, I suppose back to your point earlier on, if you're missing them, you know, it's 1 out of 3 really, so he'd want a better average than that.
Fergal Moore using all his experience there to sweep in behind the full back line, but the clearance was overcooked, and Ireland can't keep it in play. Now perhaps a chance for Noel McGrath to show us what he can do from a sideline cut.
Yeah, Noel McGrath is no slouch either when it comes to sideline balls. He's superb skilled as well, and again normally has the range and will only need direction. Actually, I thought Ireland should have kept that ball in play. I didn't understand it wasn't a bad ball from Fergal Moore, and he should have got it.
Well, it's been an absorbing contest as Tip tried to go short with that line ball. Hasn't worked out, and John O'Dwyer has given away the free. but they have responded well to that Jonathan Glynn goal with a couple of points, and perhaps there again had a chance to make something happen.
Yeah, John O'Dwyer was clearly favoured, and it shows the importance. There's no excuse for a bad first touch at this level of hurling. It's key to it. That ball had to be in his hand, and then he was in a great place for a score.
Iarla Tanyan knocking it in towards his clubmate from Ardrahan, Jonathan Glynn, dealt with by the Tip defence. Bergen, nice little stick pass to get it away towards Noel McGrath. Again, the first touch not what it needed to be, and Tanyan in to win it back. Hops it down the line to Cathal Mannion. Thought about taking Paddy Stapleton on the outside, instead turns onto his left. Mannion backs himself. Good decision. Second point of the game for the corner forward from Ahasker Afana. And once more, a little bit of daylight.
Yeah, it's a beautiful score by Coleman, beautiful score. But as you say, the importance of the first touch, Noel McGrath had a clear chance to get that ball. Good ball from Kieran Bergen, and poor first touch, and concedes a point.
And that's now 3 goals and 6 points from play for Galway. Jason Flynn just overpowered as Tip turned defence into attack, but Dahi Burke, solid as a rock again at centre back, wins that aerial duel. Here's Canning, just sauntered out onto that ball, drops it in. Glynn once more is under it, and he has it again. Glynn! He's done it again. The 6'4" full forward with his second goal of the second half. Rude one, hurling for Galway, working just fine.
Yeah, here it comes in again, wrestles with Pádraig Maher. Superb catch, and when he's the ball caught, really he's clearly favoured then to score. Watch, Pádraig Maher gets in front. Pádraig Maher really needs to be behind him, not sell himself on just trying to catch or in the challenge, to be there to actually stand up Johnny Glynn. But he's sold in the challenge, and when Glynn then catches it, which he does, he's favoured to score, and Tip have made a change straight away. James Barry has gone back full back to try and limit Johnny Glynn, but Johnny Glynn is on fire here.
Well, in the first 10 minutes of this second half, Galway have now outscored Tip 2-2 to 3 points. And Jonathan Glynn, their big full forward, doing so much damage. Anthony Cunningham, by the way, has just pitched in Aidan Hart as we watch Garrow O'Brien. Tip needs something, anything, just to stem the tide. That's now 9 wides. Yeah,
and Garrow O'Brien, another bad wide. He's on his back foot. No need to shoot there. They just recycle the ball, keep it in play, and Tip are going to need goals here now.
Still 24 minutes of normal time to go. Tip have as much time as they need, but they have to get back into this game. James Barry takes no chances and gets it away. That's a wonderful catch in the air by Johnny Cohen, but I think he's been penalised for pushing. In fact,
I think it might be on Garrod Ryan here. I think Colin Lyons is not happy the way Garrod Ryan played the ball, but I didn't see that much in it. But it's a great catch by Johnny Cohen, and the Galway half back line, Cohen and Dahi Burke, they've caught the last number of balls, and we'll see it here again. Johnny Cohen on the right. There was a pull by Garrod Ryan, but I think he was trying to play the ball at the same time in his defence.
So a yellow card for the Tip number 10. Great catch by Cohen. And out comes Joe Canning. Again, there's an almost reverential silence as Canning steps up to this. Into the wind. Doesn't carry, and gathered back there by Mickey Cahill. Once more, though, it's an aimless clearance out over the sideline on the far side, and Galway will get to keep the pressure on.
Yeah, and Tip are not making it easy for themselves there now. Mickey Cahill had ample time. He was under no great pressure, and Kieran Bergen was totally free outside him, and Mickey Cahill chose just to hit it aimlessly out over the sideline. So, Tipperary need to up it significantly here to get back on Galway.
Mickey, 22 minutes to go in the match, and you spoke earlier about the anxiety and the nervous tension that seems to seep into this group of players when they're under the cosh, when it's a tight finish. Well, it's about to happen again. Yeah, well, the real test of Tipperary, the major criticism has been, that they haven't come up to, when the pressure comes on, that they haven't come up to the task. And there's going to be huge pressure on here now to get back into this. And anxiety levels and decision making against Limerick and Kilkenny in the league finals just weren't
the anxiety levels were too high, the decision making was poor, and it's a huge test for them here, and if they can come out of this, it restarts their season, but it's hard to see how they're going to do it at the moment.
Well, speaking of decision making, the umpire there overruled by referee Colm Lyons. Initially Galway awarded a 65, but as the replay showed, it last touched the hurl of Jonathan Glynn. Good refereeing. Ball knocked in by Cathal Mannion. Once more they're looking for Glynn, the moving target in that full forward line. Here's Corrick Maher, the two-time All-Star, All-Ireland winner 4 years ago, driving out with that ball, fouled on his way out. Maher trying to lift the siege.
Yeah, I think in this case he's actually lucky to win a free here. He's just coming out, and you know, I'm not sure he actually deserved a free at all. The Galway player Davy Glennon just actually did touch the ball. So Anthony Cunningham is looking for more work, and you know, they can smell blood here. They can actually, you know, it's a tough place for Galway to come to win in the championship. Haven't done it, haven't played here in the championship before, rarely win here in the league, but they're really on target here and growing in confidence and using the ball better.
Man moving out under that ball was Jason Flynn. Ball breaks kindly for Galway. Knocked in by Joseph Cooney towards Glynn once more. Darren Gleeson reading the intentions. Just took a touch there to gather his thoughts, and now Cathal Barrett looking for Callanan, but too much on it, and out comes Colm Callanan in the Galway goal. That tip forward line just losing its shape ever so slightly. Cathal Mannion knocking it down along the stand side here for Davy Glennon to run onto, trying to twist and turn away from Stapleton. Glennon has hit that beautifully. It's curling just inside the far post. Wonderful score from Davy Glennon, the man from Mullia, with his first score.
Yeah, beautiful score. You know, he danced around Paddy Stapleton. Very good use of the ball by Galway up the field, and fully deserving of the 6-point lead. Playing good hurling now.
That's 3 points in a row for Galway. Tip haven't scored for almost 10 minutes. Callanan, a busy man in the last few minutes in the Galway goal. Mopping ball up, cleared away by Irla Tanyan, who seemed to just injure himself as he cleared that ball. Mickey Cahill returned with interest. Callanan trying to position himself underneath it. Callanan with the flick, just wide. Well, he was backpedaling off balance when he swung at it. It could have gone anywhere. A missed opportunity for Tip.
Yeah, it was still a good chance. He got his hand on it, and then he decided to flick it with one hand, and you know, he should have been able to flick it back into the left. See, it hops off his hand. He's the hurley caught long, and it just can't swing it around on target. A good chance for Tip, and they haven't been creating any goal chances whatsoever, so you know, any half chance that they get, that was certainly one they need to connect on.
Well, Galway may have engineered a 6-point advantage, but based on past performances and past meetings of these teams, it should be close. In fact, going back over the last 14 years, there's never been more than 3 points between them when they've met in championship, and John O'Dwyer from distance with his 5th point ensures the gap starts to close again. Tip trying to reel Galway back in. It's their first score for 10 minutes.
Yeah, better use of the ball. Kieran Bergen chose not to shoot on the run. John O'Dwyer in plenty of space, and easy point for him. So Tip need more of that.
First man to react to the break is Kieran Bergen. Here's Woodlock. Thought about the shot, instead lays it off to the playmaker McGrath. Callanan grabs it from around his bootlaces, sells the dummy to Burke. Good save by Callanan. The full forward in again, and this time he makes no mistake.
That's great work by Seamus Callanan. You know, first of all, he won the ball. He's all the time capable of taking on Ronan Burke. He jinxed past him. Was wondering whether he should take a point. Good save by Callanan, but it comes back to him, and you know, second time, great. Here's his drink, takes him on. Ronan Burke is under pressure all the time with him, but to finish the second time when it comes back out to him, one touch and in off the left, and Tipperary needed that goal, but the route to it is to get the ball in front of Callanan.
Well, this is championship hurling at its very best. Game on in Semple Stadium. Now we will see what Tip and Galway, for that matter, are made of. Lovely touch from John O'Dwyer out towards Bergen. Across comes Johnny Cohen. A stylish hurler, but he can get down and dirty when he needs to. Manages to link up with Glennon. Everything being done at pace now as Galway go long. Glenn, that giant right hand of his stretching into the air, but Tip got bodies in around the break. And it's sprayed out the field to James Woodlock. There's a real buzz around the stadium as Woodlock prepared to pull the trigger. He was hooked, and Colm Lyons has blown his whistle. He felt that the Galway player Cathal Mannion had chopped down on Woodlock, and he's given Tip the free.
I can't see how you can give a free against Cathal Mannion for that. It was a clear hoop for me, and very bad decision by Colm Lyons. And you know, Tipperary are going to bring this back to 1 point. Mannion had done superbly to get back on James Woodlock. James Woodlock had an open man, Noel McGrath, inside of him, and it was a bad decision by Woodlock to try and shoot. But you know, Mannion did a hook, and Tipperary extremely lucky to get a free.
Well, just 4 minutes ago there were 6 points between the sides. Now the gap is back to the minimum again, and once more Callanan steps up to the plate, keeps up his side of the bargain. We are in for some last quarter of an hour.
Yeah, certainly Tipperary have responded well, and they're using the ball a bit better, and you know, certainly back on top now again.
Both managers watching on, powerless in so many ways, as there's a big collision under that dropping ball. Pádraig Maher it was who came down with it and was met by a couple of Galway men. Yeah,
he's coming into it more since he went at centre back. Great catch by him. I'm not sure whether it was, you know, he was looking for a free really. I think it was a superb catch, and when he comes out, you know, he turns back into the Galway guy and is coming forward. I mean, they clash heads more than anything else, and there's no intent from the Galway man. Colm Lyons is actually going to his linesman to ask what he wants to do. I think the throw-in ball is the correct decision now.
Colm Lyons just having a quick word with Brian Gavin, his linesman there on the far side, who had a better view of it, and he's given Tipperary the free. No card for Aidan Hart, and I don't think the Tip crowd too happy about that, especially the crowd on the far side, Nicky.
Yeah, well, I'm not. Well, Mike, I think it might be the Galway crowd. They're not too happy with it, really. I didn't see a whole lot there now, and I think Tipperary are very lucky to get the last 2 frees they've got.
John O'Dwyer has come back to take it. It's a dangerous ball, and it all works out in the end for Colm Callanan. Here Latanian. Again, he has gone to ground just as he got that ball away. It's the second time in the last few minutes he's pulled up, and perhaps starting to feel the pinch as Noel McGrath shoots from distance, pumps the air. He knew from the moment it left his hurl, he knew it's his 3rd point of the match, and the sides are level for the 5th time at Semple Stadium.
Yeah, great point by Noel McGrath on the run. You know, he's an extremely accurate player, but Tip have actually tightened up in the half-back line, and Pádraig Maher, since he's come to centre-back, you know, they're more dominant in that area, they're winning more ball, and certainly they've turned the screw and gained the momentum here.
The tide turning once more. That's 1-3 for Tip without reply. They have managed to claw themselves back from the brink, and with 13 minutes to go, it's all square as Latanian is being treated way over on the far side, and this will give everybody a chance to catch their breath. What must Eamon O'Shea and Anthony Cunningham be thinking down there right now, Nicky, with 12.5 minutes to go?
Well, I think Eamon O'Shea will be much happier than he was 10 minutes ago. You know, Tipperary looked actually as if they were down and out and going out of this championship when they were 6 points down. They were using the ball badly. Galway had gained confidence and were completely in control, but Tip have actually wrestled that control back and now have the momentum, and Anthony Cunningham certainly will want more work around their midfield and middle third half forward line to actually kind of get parity there and try and kick on from there, because Galway use the ball well when they have it, but they're just, in the last 5 minutes, 7 or 8 minutes, they haven't been getting enough of the ball, and Ireland going off is not a help to them now either.
So Galway's number 7, their 2012 All-Star, hobbles off and is being worked on the far side of the field. Tip are getting ready to make a change as well. It's Niall Burke who's come into the Galway team, man who started their last 3 games but paid the price for having just one play in the replay against Kilkenny last weekend. Lost his place, back in for these last 10-12 minutes. Ronan Burke dwelt on that ball, blocked down by Callanan initially. A race on between Fergal Moore and Garrow O'Brien. It breaks to Lar Corbett. Corbett, his first shot at goal, and he's nailed it. Corbett, the hometown hero in Thurles, puts Tipperary back in front with 11 minutes to go.
Yeah, that's it's a big score for Tip. They've taken the lead, and that's the player they'll want on the ball to score it, and a huge reaction from the crowd. But previously to that, Ronan Burke was blocked down, and you can't make those mistakes at this level. He had to get that ball away. He was in plenty of time, but good score from Larry, and they'll want him more on the ball more for the last 10 minutes.
That's a goal and 4 points in 7 minutes from Tip. They have hurled up a real storm to put themselves back in front again, and now the ball back in Galway's court.
Yeah, and I suppose, so you're looking at it from the Galway perspective, Joe Canning has only had 2 possessions in the second half. He's not been involved in the game at all, and therein lies the problem for Galway. Their key player has not been in it.
Pádraig Maher knows he needs to use this wisely. Waited until a teammate arrived, Noel McGrath, and he gets it down towards Callanan. Over the head of the full forward. Covering is Ronan Burke. Learning on the job in that Galway full back line. Gets it away towards that far side, and Jason Flynn. Conor Cooney picks it up on the run, drops it into the space in front of Glynn. That space filled by Brendan Maher, the Tip captain, looking for Bonner Maher down along this right hand side, but Dahi Burke hovers back, closed down by Maher. Galway get the free, and Eamon O'Shea is absolutely furious. He's in on the field pleading with Cullum Lyons for justice, if nothing else. Everybody up for this.
I think it's a pretty soft free. Bonner Maher did well to get back and try and win the ball, but I suppose Eamon can hardly complain with the frees in the second half. To got a couple of soft ones himself.
No score for Galway now for 11 minutes. Joe Canning steps up, and just when they needed him most, Canning guides it over the bar.
Yeah, Joe is the man they have to have on the ball. He hasn't touched the ball. It's only his 3rd time in the second half touching the ball, and he's get his point. And Galway have lost their shape. They're not winning enough of ball around their half-forward line, and they needed that score badly.
The side's level for the 6th time as Paddy Stapleton is being treated. Nicky, this Galway's 3rd match in as many weeks. You wonder, will it start to bite? Will they feel the pinch?
Now, you certainly wonder. They've had 2 tough games against Kilkenny, and maybe that's been the reason over the last 10 minutes that they're starting to struggle a little bit in the legs. But Tipperary have to, we spoke earlier about the test for Tipperary. They have to answer when the need is greatest, and that's where it is now.
Well, we are most certainly now in the home straight. 8 minutes to go. We've already had 1 draw after extra time, of course, in the qualifiers today. Clare, the All-Ireland champions, and Wexford couldn't be separated. What odds extra time here in Thurles?
Yeah, it's very close and hard to call, but you see there Bonner Maher getting in on Joe Canning, and I suppose it illustrates 2 things: the importance for Bonner Maher to Tipperary, but also what Joe Canning is back very, very far from, too far from a Galway perspective.
Loose clearance by Dahi Burke, gobbled up by Corbett, under the stand. He's gone for it. That's outrageous from Corbett. 2 points in the last 3-4 minutes from Corbett. Super score.
Yeah, and I have to wonder why there's ever a debate about why this man is picked on the Tipperary team. If he's fit, he has to play. Just very few players can do what this man can do. Two superb plays.
Tip go in search of another score. John O'Dwyer, who has been on the end of so many moves, it was who had the final shot.
Yeah, but again, you question whether he should have gone for it.
Well, word just reaching us from the sideline that Lar Corbett was actually about to be taken off by Tipperary just before he nailed that first point. Eamon O'Shea then leaving him in there, and Corbett has come up with the goods.
Yeah, an inspired move at this. When you've seen that, when he's come up with the 2 points, someone probably told Lar as well that he was about to come off. And again, now this is a chance for Noel McGrath, and I think it's worth having a pop, and it looks like he's going to.
Well, it's been fascinating watching Eamon O'Shea during this second half. He is pucking every single ball with his team. Normally such a reserved figure on the line, but he is pumped up for this. Noel McGrath went short, takes the return and turns away in disgust. That's 11 wides for Tip, 2 in a minute.
Yeah, I think the wides have been an issue for Tip. It was a good idea by Noel. Good ball to Kieran Bergen and a quick return when you'd money would have been on Noel McGrath from that position.
Ball breaks in the middle of the field to Joseph Cooney. Just lost the ball in the heavy traffic, and Cathal Barrett, Callanan, manages to get away from Ronan Burke. Couldn't hang on to it in the air. Pressure applied by Fergal Moore. Here's Bonner Marr. Colin Lyons has blown his whistle. It's a free in to Tip. There was a tug on the jersey of Bonner Marr as he tried to go round the Galway defender. Fergal Moore is the player being spoken to by the referee. And that was a very costly decision by the Galway backs. They've given away the free and a yellow card for Moore.
Yeah, and again the importance of Bonner Marr to the Tipperary team. He's the real engine room. He's the real energy here. He's coming onto the ball and sees straight across from Fergal Moore, and no hesitation from Colin Lyons, and an easy free, and good chance for Tip to put a little bit of daylight between themselves and Galway.
So Callanan, very much the man of the moment in this match tonight, takes his time, sticks to that tried and trusted technique, and drills Tipperary into a 2-point lead with the finish line in sight. 4 minutes of normal time to go. But don't forget, Galway have come out of tighter corners than this in the last few weeks.
Yeah, they certainly have. It was this stage a couple of weeks ago they really got going against Kilkenny, but Tipperary certainly have the momentum. But there's, again, poor use of the ball from Tipperary.
Galway outscored in the last 14 minutes, by the way, 1-6 to a point. Tipperary utterly dominant. Can Galway conjure up another goal? Their 5th of the match, to drag themselves back into this as Tip go for broke from distance. Unbelievable. From inside his own half, Tip are 3 in front.
Hard to imagine it about 10 minutes ago, but what a striker the ball is, Noel McGrath. Well inside his own half, and a beautiful score.
That's 5 points from play for the corner forward from Lockmore Castleiney. And will it turn out to be the score that breaks the Galway resistance? They still have time. Anthony Cunningham weighing up his options on the sideline. It sounds probably oversimplistic, Nicky, but they have to get Canning on the ball.
Yeah, they have. Well, they need a lot now at this stage, because Tip have completely taken over.
Corbett to Bergen, and the impact sub Kieran Bergen from Killinall pushes Tip into a 4-point lead. Are they out of reach? Can they keep Galway at arm's length in these final frantic minutes as Damien Hayes, Galway's all-time leading goal scorer in championship history, is pitched in to try and rescue the situation?
Well, Tipperary certainly have complete control around the middle of the field and in their half-back line, and Galway need a goal.
Damien Hayes tries to link up with Joe Cooney, but in to win it for Tip goes Cathal Barrett. In his first championship season, goes for the score on the run, and again he holds his head in his hands. He knows he should have used that ball better.
But that's very, very poor decision making again from Cathal Barrett. I know he normally plays cornerback and he's not out, you know, he's out wing back, but really that ball again had to go in front of Seamus Callanan or Bubbles O'Dwyer. They keep it in play and try and win a free or create a score in there, but blazing it wide there is just crazy.
Shane McGrath is in to make his 37th championship appearance for Tip. He's in off the bench for these last few minutes. Nicky English, the game is almost over. Your selection for your Centra man of the match from this fascinating qualifier.
Well, I think it really comes down to, you know, Joe Canning had a great start, but it comes down really to the two players who've scored the most. Jonathan Glynn for Galway or Seamie Callanan for Tipperary, and I think Callanan really has had the greater impact. So for me, Seamie Callanan is the man of the match.
So the Tip full forward, Seamus Callanan, is Nicky's selection for our Central man of the match, but it's not over here yet. Tip sitting on a 4-point cushion, but you couldn't say it's sitting comfortably. Callanan into intercept. Can he finish it? Yes, he can. Right on cue. Seamus Callanan with his third goal, a hat-trick for the full forward for Drummond-Inch. Game over.
Well, I was just looking in the build-up to that. It's a great finish. Great, you know, he does all the work, and Bonner Maher actually had held the ball there, and I was just wondering to myself, well, Bonner Maher has done huge work, and maybe he should have been the man of the match, and then on cue Callanan comes up and scores his third goal. That's it. Game over, although we would have said that about Galway a couple of weeks ago and they came back from the dead, so you never know, but hard to see it.
Well, Galway have collapsed spectacularly in the last 17 minutes. They've been outscored 2-8 to a point in that period. Tip have got their second wind, and it looks like they've got their summer back on track. Aidan Hart knocking this in around the house. Canning jumps. It falls towards Stapleton, and at this stage anywhere will do.
Keep moving, keep moving.
Well, Seamus Callanan, as we said earlier, is such an enigmatic talent, but when he clicks, he clicks. 3 goals at 8 points he's hit tonight. He has been pretty much unmarkable.
Yeah, and there's been a lot of times that he was loose in front of goals and one-on-one with Ronan Burke, and Tipperary chose not to hit wides and chose not to hit the ball into him. So as well as he's played, he could have actually done better.
Cathal Barrett wide a little earlier. He's gone for it again, but that shot off target.
I think it doesn't matter at this stage, but you know, if it did matter, it would be a very, very bad decision.
Well, there were huge question marks hanging over Tipperary again this evening. Less than 4 years from that historic All-Ireland final win, they have stood up to the mark. They have answered the questions, and John O'Dwyer adds a little gloss to that final scoreline. 3:17 from play out of that total of 3:24. Eamon O'Shea asked for a big performance, Nicky, and he's got it.
Yeah, and he was, you know, they really, really needed it. And I suppose the big question about Tipperary over the last couple of years has been, when they're under pressure, what do they find? And they were really under pressure here tonight, 6 points down, and we see Larry coming off to a claim here now, but that's the key to Tipperary. It certainly will restart their season, and they'll be dangerous opponents for anyone in the next round of the qualifier.
A high five from Eamon O'Shea, the Tip manager, for Lar Corbett as he made his way off the field. Tip putting on a show in this last quarter of the match for their loyal and long-suffering supporters. They've turned out in big numbers and they're enjoying this. Great score from distance by Shane McGrath. It's all coming together now down the home straight. Galway out on their feet, nothing left.
Yeah, and you can see the reaction of Eamon O'Shea. Such, you know, he's delighted. The word was they worked very, very hard in Thurles in the last 4 or 5 weeks since the defeat by Limerick, and you can see it's paying off. And I'm sure at the other side of it, he was a very, very worried man with 15 minutes, 20 minutes to go.
1 point for Galway in the last 22.5 minutes of this match. It has all gone horribly wrong. Leading early in the second half by 6 points, but Tip just took control, kicked on, and really have closed the game out emphatically. Joe Canning now has been moved a little closer to goal. Time almost up. Glynn blocked brilliantly by Mickey Cahill. The follow-up half blocked as well. Tip shall not be moved. It's all over. It's a first championship win for Tipperary for almost 2 years, and a first championship victory for their manager Eamon O'Shea. Tip have put together the performance and got the results that gets their summer back on track. But it's the end of the road for Galway. They exit the championship in early July for the first time in 45 years. Anthony Cunningham and his players will do a lot of soul searching in the days and weeks ahead. Their summer is over. Tipperary, though, celebrate a famous win. They made home advantage count, and they just went to a different level completely in the last quarter.
And you can see the importance, Mike, and the way the supporters and the selectors. You see Mick Ryan, Eamon O'Shea, Pádraig Maher, running to Noel McGrath. This was a huge game for Tipperary. There was a lot at stake here for them, and I'm sure with 22 or 23 minutes to go, they felt like they were going out of it. And they answered the questions at that stage. They wrestled back control, used the ball better, although they can still improve in that department, and they will be delighted with this win.
So Tipperary live to fight another day. They've beaten Galway. It's finished. Tipperary 325, Galway 413.